Good evening, and you are viewing 31 Wisdom Keys for Focusing on Your Passion. LaunchPad Consultancy, in collaboration with VisionWorks Solutions, brings to you Book Club Conversation Series 3. And in this series, entrepreneurs and the professionals are reading the book The Uncommon Dream by Mike Murdock. I am your host, Alina Lewis, and today's discussion comes from chapter 1 of that book entitled The Uncommon Dream Will Birth the Uncommon Life. And joining me this evening for discussion is Janine Caesar of JC Charm. So Janine, welcome. Hi, good evening to
Hi,
you.
good
How's you
evening, Alina.
doing?
Nice to be here. I'm fine. It's a nice Friday. I'm good.
Yes, so thank you for joining me here for the launch. This is our stream 1 of 31 in the special series, The Uncommon Dream, where we're really tapping in. And I'm so excited to have you here. And I know you're going to be here lots of days. And we're also going to have other entrepreneurs joining in, even as we tap in to focusing on the vision, because many of us are planning to launch, relaunch, expand. Tell me, Janine, where are you in that cycle? Are you expanding? Are you revamping? Are you relaunching? Are you rebranding? As an entrepreneur and owner of JC Cham, where are you in that cycle?
Well, for me, I am an event manager. So, because of the restrictions that are put in place now, it's really hard to function. So, we have had the event industry has had to pivot online. And with that, now it means that you need different equipment, the tools that you're going to need now are different. So it's a learning curve for us now to get these things done.
So
So for
you
me,
then, Janine, are in a space,
it's
yeah?
been having to figure out, because based society is trying to convince people now, try to convince people to the advantages of paying online and trying to get
Yeah, so I think,
Alina.
Janine, what you're
Yeah.
saying is that you are going through that technological upgrade where you have take your events online and help customers transition into that space where they're willing to pay online and do things online. So, of course, even as we go into our first segment for this stream, we want to talk about reading for meaning. So, Janine, when we get back, I'm looking forward to hearing what is your tip as a professional and a business owner when looking at a book like this as you read for meaning. So, what's your reading for meaning tip, Janine?
Well, because this book now, from what I've read already, um, it lets me it makes me further focus on what I want to do with the options that we have now. As I say, and I've only read chapter 1, and as the Americans say, my edges have already been snatched. It's that is given it's making me focus just a little bit more than what it is I was already doing. It's giving me a laser focus now.
Okay, great. And my reading for meaning is really simple. When you read, highlight. You want to highlight because it's possible to go through your book and see so many great points that we could see it, read it, we get emotional and excited, and then we forget all about it. So when we read for meaning, we want to highlight, and highlighting one or two simple ways. If we're reading a physical paper based book, Highlighters, actual highlighters, they do still exist. I know in these COVID days, we're not going to the bookstores, but real actual highlighters, they work. And even when we're reading on the computer or you're on your Kindle, there's a highlighting function. You drag, you click, you highlight, and you write your notes. So highlighting definitely is my reading for meaning. And chapter one, even before I got to chapter one, Janine, it was mind blowing for me because as soon as I jumped
Yes,
in,
the
as soon as
preface,
I jumped
the
in,
preface alone.
even before the preface, picture graphic number one,
Yeah.
number two, actually, the uncommon dream must be born within you and not borrowed from somebody else. And this speaks to the plight of so many entrepreneurs where we see what Jane and Johnny down the road doing and we say, oh my gosh, look, they're figuring it out, they're doing it, I should go do that too. And we try to position ourselves with Jane and Johnny from down the road and realize it's not working so well. And Mike Murdoch put it in so well for us. The uncommon dream must be born within you and not borrowed from somebody else, because this too is how we stay focused and passionate. What are your thoughts? So what else have you been reading that really stood out to you in chapter one?
In chapters, but following that same thought, he also said that you don't borrow someone else's dream, because your gift is to make, you can have a dream like theirs, but with the gifts that you were given, you can become distinctive. And that word stood out to me, because it's like, okay, you have bakeries all over the place, but for me, I like bread from this particular bakery. Their bread is distinctive. There's a particular flavor, particular taste that appeals to me.
That's right. That's right.
So while there are others who will have that dream, what makes you distinctive?
Yes. Yes. And the thing that, even to piggyback from what you're saying there, Janine, the thing that really makes it distinctive and it stands out in the book, where Mike Murdoch says the pictures in your mind are controlling your life. And I thought that was so on point, and relevant to this time, because we do need to be able to tap in. We do need to understand, where are we pulling inspiration from? What is driving us? And a great way to start, because a lot of people sometimes we pull back and you feel like, I don't know what my gifting is. I don't know what my passion is. Or maybe somebody might be saying, I want to get into business, but I don't know where to start. And I love the way Mike puts it. Start with the pictures in your mind. What do you see? What do you envision for yourself? Because when you are tapping into the pictures that are in your mind, we recognize that that's the thing that control our lives. It drives us. It helps us to know what direction we want to start, where we want to go. So the pictures in our mind, so important. And even as Janine's feed resurfaces there, I want to highlight the part that says, when we start tapping into that vision, we recognize that it is going to require every gift that is in us. Because as we look at, what are my skills, what are my inclinations, what are my instincts, that picture in our mind draws on that passion to make it work. Janine, I see you're back. Yes. Oh, I see you're still having a bit of connection, Janine. Um, why don't you
No trouble,
try,
but
yeah, drop out and come and
I am
return, and let's get the
going to have
connection
that
restored, yeah?
clear
Let's do
before we.
that. So definitely we're reminding ourselves that when we start tapping into our dream and our vision, we're recognizing that it does require the gifts that are within us. And I so love it, even when the book says that when we look at our dreams, that unique dream, or what he calls that uncommon dream, we start to recognize that it is attainable. As business owners, we must recognize that our vision, the dream, the pictures in our mind, it definitely is attainable, and be able to accept that it is indeed closer than we can imagine. And when we recognize that that vision, the picture in our mind, the way it makes sense to us, it's the thing that causes us to become distinctive so that the dream can come true. So the question here, even as we pause to reflect, is what is that uncommon dream that you carry? Business owners, professionals, those who are planning to launch, relaunch, revamp, expand. Have you tapped into the vision that is within? Have you tapped into the vision and the dream to be able to recognize, yes, I can position myself to use the gifts to make it happen? Janine.
Yes.
So I'm just jumping over to you. I was just sharing on the part of the book that really talks about where the dream requires our gifts, and when we use our gifts to tap into our dreams, to be able to launch, relaunch, expand, it causes the dream to become attainable, closer than we can imagine, be our distinctive point, and it's the thing that causes the dream to come to pass. But even as you continue to look at chapter one, what else sort of stood out to you?
Well, for me, some of the things that he was saying, like the uncommon dream is your invisible companion. And for me, that gave me a sense of hope, because to me, it felt like he was saying, okay, yes, you are seeing these steps to get there, but for me, it meant like God is holding your hand. He's holding your hand. The more you read, the clearer your steps become. And when you step out, he's going to hold your hand. He's not going to let you fall. That's what stood out for me.
Definitely. Definitely. I mean, I loved chapter one and everything it stood for, because what it did is that it clarified some of the things that you want to recognize. And I even love the part when we start talking about, as he terms it, the uncommon dream. It reminded us that when we start tapping into our own vision for the thing that we want to accomplish, that new business idea, the expansion, the rebranding, the relaunch, it's not just about trying to mimic what we see around us. But when we tap into our own significance, you realize that our dream, our passion is different from others, and that is okay. And you know, Janine, a lot of times people tend to feel as though something is wrong if their dream is different. They start to feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing because it is different. But no, the difference is the thing that is going to cause us to become significant. And even as you talked about, that dream is the compass and the invisible companion.
Make you
So that those
distinctive.
treasures, yes, is a thing that is going to give us competitive advantage in the market. That is the thing that's going to cause us to find our niche, to carve out our niche, because we're able to offer that thing in a unique way. And that was such an encouragement, I think, to all the people who are reading, because when you start to recognize you don't have to be this
Yeah,
homogeneous
because it means
product.
that
Yeah.
and
Or your feet stuck a little bit, Janine. Can you repeat that, please?
how can I say this? It's like the what you may offer, and it's sad. The truth is, what you give, going to like it. But however, it does not mean that everybody does not like it. What may not resonate with
Yeah.
one may speak to somebody else. So when you give this when you give your gift, and because your gift is distinctive, you're going to resonate with others. And they're also going to keep coming back to you because it resonated with them. And that's how you keep on growing and becoming more and working towards your dream.
That's definitely right. So even now, what we want to do is I want to go into our last segment, and our last segment is looking at wisdom for transformation. So Janine, what have you pulled from chapter one that you're taking into tomorrow? We're not talking next month or next year. Wisdom for transformation. What have you pulled that you're taking into tomorrow that whether you're brainstorming or you're taking action or you're making a phone call or you're setting up a virtual system for your events, what are you taking into tomorrow for JC Charm?
For me, with the challenges that we have of the virtual experience as is demonstrated tonight, um, don't be discouraged.
All
Yes,
right.
everybody is learning, and not everybody is going to accelerate at the same speed. But that doesn't mean that you give up. You're still going to get there. You're still going to get there. You may take a different path. Their path may be straight, yours might be curved, others might be zigzag, but you're going to get there. And that is what I need to hold to make sure that my distinction stands out because I know what I have to offer.
Definitely. I love that. So wisdom for transformation from Janine is stay encouraged, recognize that you have awesome stuff to give, in my words, awesome stuff to give. And I think my wisdom for transformation that I want to share with those who would view this is very simple. Recognize there is power in your voice and in your way. Your voice and your way is going to create path for you. And as you recognize that there is uniqueness in your voice and your way, and you give power to that, and you give expression to that, it is going to be the
That's
thing that
right.
would carve a way for you. So don't hide your voice because it's different. And of course, I use voice as metaphorical here. Don't hide your skill, don't hide your perspective because it is different, but recognize that your voice will make way for you. So we are happy to have had this book club conversation series 3 started, The Uncommon Dream, as we looked at chapter 1 from the writings of Mike Murdoch. Janine, thank you so much for joining in. Sitting in with me tonight was Janine Caesar of JC Charm. And of course, we will see you tomorrow as we discuss chapter 2. We have owner of Infinity Creations joining in with us on the discussion, and we look forward to it. Until then, guys, have a good night, and we will see you tomorrow.